find a quiet corner with a cup of hot coffee, and listen to me tell a story. When I was a child, winters always felt endless. Our old wooden house creaked with every gust of wind, and the cold seeped through the cracks, reaching every corner. I often sat on the porch, hugging my knees, watching my grandmother at work. She always had a ball of faded yarn in her lap, and her thin-veined hands moved tirelessly with knitting needles. The soft click, click became the comforting rhythm of my childhood. Grandma never bought new yarn. She unraveled old sweaters, scarves, and blankets, rolling the threads into neat balls. She patched them together with colors that never quite matched: brown and green, red and navy, yellow and gray. To her, each piece was perfect in its warmth and care. To me, however, they were odd, mismatched, and embarrassing. One winter morning, she handed me a sweater she had worked on for weeks. Its body was brown, one sleeve green, and a bright red patch covered the chest. At school, my classmates laughed. "Look at that patchwork sweater," someone shouted. I felt my cheeks burn with shame. I ran home, threw the sweater into a corner, and shouted, "I don't want to wear this anymore." Everyone laughs at me. Grandma paused, knitting needles frozen midair, and looked at me with soft, patient eyes. She said nothing. That night, long after I had gone to bed, I could still hear the faint click, click of her needles. The next morning, she greeted me as usual, placing a warm bowl of porridge on the table. "Eat, child. Stay warm," she said quietly. I didn't understand then, but later I realized that her silence was her way of showing love, steady, patient, and unwavering. One particularly cold evening, I walked home shivering through the winter wind. Grandma was waiting with the same sweater. She draped it over my shoulders, her hands rough but warm. "It may be old," she whispered, "but I hope it keeps you warm." In that moment, I felt more than wool around me. I felt her love, quiet and enduring. Years passed. I left home busy with school and work, and visits grew fewer. I sometimes thought of the sweater, tucked away somewhere, but I never spoke of it. One day while cleaning an old closet, I found it again. The fabric was thinner, the stitches uneven, but holding it brought back memories. I could almost hear the soft click-click of her needles, see her quietly sitting on the porch, and feel her presence surrounding me. That sweater taught me that love does not need to be perfect. It is in the small acts of care, patience, and persistence. The uneven stitches became a symbol of her unwavering love. What once embarrassed me now comforts me. On cold days, I hold it close, tracing the seams, and feel her love wrapping around my heart. The sweater reminds me to embrace imperfection in myself, in others, and in life. True love is patient, gentle, and lasting, and even the smallest gestures can leave a mark that endures a lifetime. Thank you. Has your coffee gone cold? Take a sip, find a quiet corner, and listen as I tell you another story. That autumn morning, mist clung to the trees as I stepped onto the familiar bus, weary after a long week. The bus rolled along quietly, wheels clattering softly, music playing gently from the speakers. I chose a seat by the window, gazing out at the golden leaves drifting lazily in the breeze. The bus stopped, and an elderly woman boarded, wearing a thick coat and a deep red scarf. She smiled warmly, taking a seat near me. I felt an unexpected calm. Other passengers included a boy clutching his backpack, a middle-aged man reading a newspaper, and a young woman writing in a journal. Each lived in their own world, yet shared the same peaceful space. The woman touched my hand lightly. "You look tired," she said. I nodded. She smiled and shared a memory. When she was young, she often sat on a bus, staring out the window, thinking of unfinished dreams. She had learned that simply observing the world around you can ease the heart. I listened, and slowly, my worries faded. The boy's laughter, the rustling of the newspaper, sunlight streaming through the window all blended into a gentle symphony that soothed my soul. I realized that peace can be found in the quietest moments, even among strangers. The bus continued along tree-lined streets. The woman continued, "Happiness is often found in small moments, a glance, a smile, or the quiet on a bus ride." I looked around, sensing a subtle connection among the passengers. Though we spoke little, we shared a moment of life together. Healing can come from simplicity, from small acts and gentle presence. Soon, the bus reached the final stop. The elderly woman smiled at me. "Remember, every journey carries a lesson if you pay attention," she said. I stepped off, inhaling the crisp morning air. The fatigue of the morning melted away, replaced by a gentle calm. Walking home, I reflected on that bus ride, on the woman, and the quiet moments I had overlooked. I noticed small details: sunlight through the windows, birds singing along the streets, autumn wind slipping through my fingers. These simple things became sources of healing, reminding me to cherish the present and the people around me. Whenever I feel weary, I imagine that bus ride, the woman's gentle smile, reminding me that peace is always near if we pause and listen. The smallest, gentlest moments, seemingly insignificant, are the building blocks of lasting happiness. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to Healing Storybox to hear more stories that soothe the soul. Thank you for giving this video a small moment in your life. I truly appreciate you.